morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Today, I'm going to talk about how to help yourself stop judging, I guess I can say. Because judgment is one of the things that holds us back. And most of the times we don't know we're doing it because we're taught to live a certain way. And that's where the judgment comes from. Judgment comes from an idea or a concept of how we should live. And when someone else is doing something other than that, or other than what is publicly accepted, we tend to have judgment. It's like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you wearing that? Why are you doing this, to your kids? Or why are you saying that? And this is where the judgment stems from. So how do you stop doing that? How do you get into the habit of not judging? I'm going to say it's quite easy, it's quite simple, but what I'm really referring to is how to do it is quite simple. But what's difficult is actually doing it. I'm not sure if I should stay on this freeway. I should stay on this freeway. Oh look, there's a popo in a white car instead of a black one, and the windows aren't that dark. But anyway, I'm not gonna trust it. I'm gonna go my own way. I'm gonna go my own way. So one of the things that, we tend to. No, that's not what I was saying. I already said that. So what is it? So basically, you have to come to an understanding. What is that understanding? The understanding is knowing that how you live your life isn't wrong. It's not wrong because we have the free will to live our life how we choose to live it. This sun is super bright. But I refuse. I'm sun gazing. Whatever. Let me see. We have the free will to live our life however we choose. And if you can apply this to everyone else, then you'll be okay because there won't be any judgment. There won't be any judgment because you'll recognize everyone else's free will. If it's okay for you to sleep with a married man or a married woman, then if you feel that's okay and that's what you're doing, I should say if that's what you're doing, then you feel it's okay. You feel it's benefiting you in some way, shape, or form. And so if you can understand that what you're doing is okay, then you won't have any judgment towards anyone else who's doing the same thing. The problem is society believes that that is wrong, and you don't want anybody else to know that you believe that it's okay, which is why you condemn it in other people, because you don't want to be judged. And that's really what's going on, is you don't want people to judge you. So before that happens, what you'll do is you'll judge someone else in order to prove to someone that you believe what is happening is not right, so that they won't look at you, so they won't even think that you would do something like that, even though you could be doing it in this very moment. And that's really where judgment comes from. But I'm not really talking about where judgment comes from. I'm just talking about how to live life without having it. And really that's accepting yourself and the things that you're doing. Now, the only time you should believe or feel that you're wrong is if you're living your life in a way where you feel that it's not right. If you believe that you're doing something that isn't right, if you believe that you're doing something that is unloving, because some people don't believe that, sleeping with someone else's husband or wife is unloving. They believe, hey, this, a lot of times they're like, hey, I'm lonely, this guy treats me well, or this girl treats me well, and I like feeling this way, so I'm going to continue. Obviously, he doesn't love his husband. I mean, his wife or husband or whatever it is. I mean, it could be either or. So I'm the one that can make him happy or her happy, and this person makes me happy as well. So we should, be together even though they're married. That could be a thought of yours, a belief, a feeling, and that's fine if that's okay with you. Just don't judge yourself. Just judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just if you believe that you want to start living your life differently, then that's when you make the decision that, hey, this is no longer for me. But to judge other people, just understand that what they're doing with their life is okay. You really have to accept how other people live. You know, if other people want to do drugs, smoke crack, drink, commit adultery, whatever it is, just allow them to do it. If it's not affecting you, if it's not physically interfering with your life, then leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's for them. It's not for you. It's for them. So align yourself with people who are for you. So if adultery is something that you aren't for, if infidelity is something that you're not for, then associate with people who don't engage in those things. Associate with people who are not okay with that. Align yourself with the people who you're in agreement with. That's how you do it. You leave the people alone who are doing things that you're not in agreement with, and align yourself with people who you are in agreement with. Like, there are some people who listen to my videos, but yet they're not in agreement with it. Well, then my suggestion to them is do what you feel is right for you. Do what you feel is comfortable for you, and allow you and the universe to work that out. Allow yourself and God to work that out. Just don't worry about anybody else. Just allow yourself and the Creator to work that out between you two. That part's going to happen anyway. That part is going to happen anyway. But what I'm saying is, don't worry about it. Allow the Creator to worry about it. Don't concern yourself with it unless the Creator is concerning itself with it and what you're doing. And you'll know because you'll keep getting corrective measures. You will know this. But you don't have to recognize it. And so you don't have to bombard your life with things that you don't want to be bothered with. Like, this is your free will choice. See, the thing is, you're doing it anyway. You're doing it on the down low, and you believe nobody else knows, but the one entity that does know is the only one that really matters. They know. It knows. Whatever you want to call it, God, whatever, universe, Jehovah, Allah, whatever. It doesn't matter what you call it. It already knows. And it's already working with the universe, or has instructed the universe to work that out with you. And so you don't have to involve anybody else. You don't have to care about what anybody else thinks. You know, if you're dating someone or you're with someone and, they don't make you happy and you're always arguing, then hey, if that's what you like, that's what you like. There are some people who really love to argue. They just love the back and forth, because for a person to argue, I should say this, anyone who argues is a lonely person. A very lonely person. Extremely lonely. Extremely, extremely, extremely lonely. And that's evident because the interaction that they're willing to partake in is the easiest to have, which is arguing. It's easy to have an argument with people because everyone has their own idea as to how they should live. And so you're going to get pushback. And so that's the easiest interaction you can have, is to insult someone. That's easy. Because everyone has sensitivities. Everyone has emotional injuries. So that's the easiest communication that you can have. Now, you may want other communication, but it doesn't serve its purpose. Calm, cool, and collected minds having a conversation does not serve the purpose of an angry person. Because there's too much anger and it has to come out. So this is why the law of attraction brings this forward. This is why it happens. This is why one degraded soul meets another degraded soul, so that the degradation can be seen and released. It can't be seen the pain in your soul can't be seen if it's not expressed. If you're in denial of it, how do you know it's there? How can you have a better life? If your soul needs to get rid of the degradation in order to have a better experience, then how does that happen if you're in denial of it and you don't want to release it? Well, you have to meet someone who's going to trigger those emotions so that they do come up. So, of course, the cool, calm, and collected person isn't going to want to have a conversation with someone who's angry, because that's not serving their purpose. But the person who's angry needs that. They need the arguing, they need the bickering, they need the whining, they need the beatings, they need all of these things. And I know that sounds weird, but some people need the beatings. Some people have such a low self-worth, self-value, no value. They really feel that they don't have any value. And so they have to be hit and knocked around in order to understand this. What is your value? Well, you'll learn that when you decide, I need to walk away. I'm worth more than that. But how do you know that? How do you know? Like, how do you release the things in your soul that are telling you that, or that make you feel, or cause you to feel, I should say, that cause you to feel like you're unworthy? Because see, someone can not knock you around and you still feel unworthy. You can not be knocked around, you can not be yelled at and cursed at, and you'll still feel it. Just look at depressed people. A lot of people who are depressed, they isolate. They don't communicate with anybody, and still they feel like they're worth nothing. They do it all themselves. So how do you bring that up? Well, interacting. How? Well, through these things that mimic the physical things that mimic the emotional things within you. So if you feel lousy and you don't know why, and you're like, how do I get out of this? How do I create self-worth? How do I create self-value? Well, you have to experience something for you to come to that realization, for you to come to that to determine what is within you. How do you, or determine that you have unworthy things within you? Like, how do you come to that determination? How do you come to that realization? How do you come to that understanding? We have to experience something. And you can't do it on your own, so you need help. So you need another degraded soul to come and curse you out, knock you down, slap you around, say that you're worthless, because when you feel that pain externally, you get tired of it. You're like, no, I want something different. And it is at that time that you decide you want something different. But some people have to have this, and this is why I'm saying, don't concern yourself so much with other people. Just let people live how they feel they need to live. The universe is going to work it out with them in their own time. They may lose, an eye. They may lose an arm. A woman may be beat and kicked around so badly to where she can't have children, but that is the consequence of not loving yourself. That is the consequence of not loving yourself, because if you loved yourself, first of all, you wouldn't even have that interaction. But in order to determine or decide that you do love yourself, you have to make a decision to show yourself that you love yourself. So, like I said, you may, a woman may end up not being able to have kids because she's beaten so badly, like I said, she may lose her vision, she may lose an arm, she may have bad nerve damage. Any of these things can happen. But it's only because she doesn't love herself. And there's no other way for her to love themselves. Like, listen, the physical body is not who you are, so it's like it's okay for it to be damaged if that's what it takes. And it's really not that, it's not really it being placed upon you, it's you deciding this is what you need in order to realize that you love yourself. There are so many what we call survivors who come from domestic, or survivors of domestic abuse. And these women tell their story in a way, I should say, they tell their story, but from a damaged person, meaning a lot of physical, mental abuse. But at some point, they realize, I didn't love myself. And I wasn't aware as to how much I didn't love myself until I saw him hit my kid, or I saw him hit, I lost my vision, or whatever, he broke my arm. I had broken ribs and bruises one day. One day I was bleeding so badly and the doctor said I may not live. It wasn't until I experienced that I realized I needed to love myself. But before I could make that determination, I had to understand that I wasn't loving myself. These are things that women choose. Like, these are things that women choose to go through in order to get the truth. this is what they have to go, this is what they allow themselves to go through in order for the truth to be had. Now the thing is, at any given time, they could have decided, you know what, this is not for me. But sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes it's not enough. They need the message driven hard. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. It's the same thing for men. Men stay in abusive relationships for a long time because men are I guess physically different than women, so they're able to take a pounding, more than a woman can. Women are more delicate in that respect. So they're easy. It's more accepted, I should say, to condemn, and you see it all the time. Women are always posting something on Facebook or Instagram about a man, how dumb they are, how stupid they are, how childish they are, how this, how that, how, they can't make it without a woman, whatever. I mean, there's always something going on with a woman, and that's fine. That's fine. I've come to accept that. Accept that as a norm for women. That's just who they are in the moment. And they'll have to pay for that, but I can't concern myself with it. I can't allow myself to be affected by it. I just have to let themselves destroy themselves until they realize what they're doing is wrong. I'm not going to say anything wrong about a woman. I'm not going to say anything wrong about a man. It's just, hey, their life is their life. How they choose to live it is fine. And for those who need it, they're there. For the men who need to be abused by women, who need to be used by women, who need to be torn down and condemned by women, they're out there for you for that to happen to you. If that's what you need to understand that you are worth more than that, then it's out there for it to be had. The pain, the suffering, all of it. Same thing for women, both ways. It doesn't matter, male, female, it's all the same. Abuse is abuse, and if you need it, you need it. It's there for you to see. I mean, a broken arm and a lost leg later, maybe you'll get the message, maybe not. Maybe you have to die. Maybe you have to die, and then 2,000-3,000 years later you'll get it. Hey, it's completely up to you. But I do understand that I have to let you do you. I have to let you experience your pain. And it's not my job to take your pain away, but it is my responsibility because I know it's my responsibility to share the information in case someone out there is looking for it. In case someone is out there looking for information to better themselves, to understand what's happening, why they're experiencing what they're experiencing. It is my responsibility to do that. It's not your responsibility to accept it until you feel it's your responsibility to accept it. Once you decide, hey, I need to start making some changes in my life. I need to start thinking and feeling differently about myself and other people. It isn't until that time. It isn't until that time that it should even be a concern for you. Don't worry about it if it's not an issue. I mean, if it's not something that's of any concern, if it's not a desire to improve yourself or understand yourself, not even take any action to improve yourself, but just to have an understanding. If it's your desire to have an understanding, then hey, so be it. Then it's your desire. At least the information is out there. But you don't have to do anything. Just like I don't have to make these videos. I do it because I choose to. I like making the videos. I won't always make them. But I don't know when I'll stop. I guess I'll stop when I feel that, hey, it's time for me to stop. But until then, no, I'll keep making them. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure when that's going to be, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, how to stop judgment. Just allow people to live their life. You have to be okay with people suffering. I've said that before. You have to be okay with other people suffering. And you have to be okay with your suffering, if that's what you want. The thing is, if you don't want to experience that anymore, then at that time, it is your responsibility to seek out information, to change. But if you're okay with something, like if you're getting certain needs and addictions met, then keep going. because you're never going to realize you need to change until you feel you need to change. But if you're not living how you feel, meaning, like, there's a situation where this one person says they want to improve their lives, but they stay in basically a bad relationship. And it's kind of a yo-yo relationship where, someone mistreats them, then they threaten to leave or change, and then they change, and that's to keep them around. But that's a facade that can only be held up for so long. So what's going to happen is they're going to revert back, and this yo-yo situation has been happening for a long time. Over a decade, it's just been back and forth. And each and every time this person believes that the other person is changing because they get tired of it. They start doing something to improve themselves, or they threaten to leave, and the other person changes. And it's like I said, how do you want to have a different life, but yet you stay with the person who's treated you unfairly, who's treated you unlovingly? You're like, okay, I'll stay. I want to improve myself, I'm going to stay. The thing is, there's certain needs being met by that person. There's certain addictions being met by that person. And this disallows them from making the decision that they know they should make, but they have the hope, Hope is, I was going to make a video about this, but hope is right in the middle of fear and certainty. That's where hope is. Right, I should say between uncertainty and certainty. Hope is in the middle. It's not anything that's absolute. It's like you hope. It's like a chance, By chance, this person might change. I'm not certain, I'm not uncertain, I'm hopeful. And hope doesn't really have any place in the life of the human being. Certainty does, though. Absolutely, certainty does. Absolute does. Absolute certainty. Absolute. Only certainty has a place in the life of the existence of the human being. And the reason why that is because the Creator is certain. The Creator is certain, and therefore we should strive to live in certainty. I'm certain that certain people are who they are in their moment. I am absolutely certain that a person is who they are in the moment, their real true self. They can smile a smile, but that doesn't change the fact that they're their real true self. So that smile and laughter can be a facade. And so they are who they are in the moment, and I accept that. Which is why I don't really fall for nonsense anymore, because I am accepting of one's state of being in the moment. When I see someone who is in pain, when I see someone who is in anger, but yet they put on a smile, I understand that that's who they are in the moment. Can I trust them? No, I cannot. I am certain that I cannot. I am certain I cannot because I know that they are uncertain. So how can I be certain about someone smiling and giving a facade when I know otherwise? When I know they're so uncertain, there's so much pain and suffering in their life, how can I be certain that what they're presenting to me is actual truth? Well, I can't. But I am certain that they are living their facade at the moment. I am certain that they are living in whatever space they're living in. I am certain that the energy that they're living in is true and accurate. I am certain of this. I have to be certain of this. Now, of course, everyone doesn't like that I do this, because everyone puts on a facade in order for you to buy into it. And for someone like me, I can't buy into it. And this is why a lot of people kind of refrain from interacting with me, because it's like it's pointless to interact with someone who's not willing to accept what you work so hard to build and create. And I see so many people living in facade. So I'm okay with them living in facade. I just can't interact with them the way they would like me to interact with them. And I'm certain of this. And I'm accepting of this. And it allows for peace and calmness and ease to remain within me, within my being. And that's what's important. It's important for me to have peace and calmness and stillness and ease within my being. But the only way that's going to happen is if I'm okay with how people live, how people create the reality, how people choose to suffer, how people choose to create a facade. It's my belief that it's best to suffer than to live in a facade. Because at some point you're going to get tired of the suffering. At some point you'll get tired of it. You're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do this. But when you live a facade, you suffer while you live the facade. And the thing is, you can't fully experience your suffering if you have a facade going on. You know, when you're out with friends or out in public and you put on a smile and everything's great, you're living a facade. You're not experiencing your pain. And so we don't change the things that we don't feel all the time. Like when we feel like desperate all the time, we want that desperation to change. But when we break it up here and there and create pleasure and laughter, well, the pain doesn't seem so bad. And the thing is, we get so used to creating the facade that we don't focus on the pain, even though we are in pain and suffering. So I think it's best to live in your pain, understand where your pain is coming from, allow that truth to happen and stay within you until you're really ready to figure it out and release it. That's what I think you should do. If you want to figure out, if you want your life to change. But if you don't want it to change, then the facade is the one thing that's going to keep everything the same. The facade is going to allow you to continue living your life how you've been living. And yes, you can create some amazing things in your physical world by your facade. You can be completely broken and empty inside and have all kinds of physical things, accomplishments. You can be number one, or, whatever it is that you're doing. There's a lot of empty people who always won the number one spot. You can build great companies and organizations, and you can help people all over the world and still feel empty inside. So you can create great things, or I should say achieve great achievements, having an emptiness and a void within you. That is absolutely possible. But it won't serve you so much later on. Once you see, you get tired when you do things like that. When you exert so much physical energy, you get tired. And once you break down and you don't have any energy, what tends to happen is you can't maintain the facade anymore, because it takes a great deal of energy to maintain the facade. And the thing is, when you use your facade to create something great, other people will praise you because of that, because of your accomplishment. But people grow tired of things very quickly. So you have to be innovative, and you have to keep creating things in order to keep people's attention. So in order to maintain your facade, and meaning in order to continue the praise that you're getting, or have the continued praise from your facade, you have to keep doing new things. But the thing is, like I said, it's the praise, it's the recognition, it's the acknowledgement of your accomplishment or accomplishments that keep you sustained. It's really not your accomplishments, it's the praise from others that keep you sustained. Because you don't have the recognition and the peace and the joy. You don't have all of those things coming from within you. They're coming from outside of you into you. And so that is what is sustaining. That is what is holding you up. However, like I said, when you get tired and you can't do those great things anymore, what happens is you start feeling, it's too early. You start feeling the pain. You start feeling the emptiness inside. The relationships that you don't have or you didn't create to sustain whatever it is that you need to sustain you. Like, you didn't create these things. And you start feeling the pain, the suffering, the void, the emptiness within you. But it's only when you get tired. There's so many people who make so much money just to die alone. Like, they die alone. There's no trust. They didn't build any relationships. And the thing is, most importantly, they're not happy with themselves. That's the real important thing. They're not happy with themselves. And so there's nobody around. They have everything that they could imagine physically. You know, what's the point of having a 13-bedroom house when there's no one to share it with? What's the point of having, $1 million cars and no one to drive with? Unless you are happy with who you are, then you don't need those things. But most people who have money die alone. They die alone. And they have to keep doing things and doing things for other people to recognize in order to get the praise and the acknowledgement from other people. Anyway, I don't know how I got on all that, but back to like this guy. He's on drugs. You can tell he's a meth addict. You can tell by the nerve damage that he has in his movement. Like, you can't have any judgment towards people because of that. You just have to be like, hey, that's something that he chose for himself. And obviously some things that were handed down to him emotionally, from his parents that he's actually dealing with. So his parents are actually responsible. His parents are actually responsible for him being like that. Because there are things that... See, and this is interesting because certain souls are able to handle the emotional injuries that have been passed down to them and that they have created. They're able to handle it. And when I say handle it, I mean they're able to create an illusion as if it's not there and live a life. But then they have children and they're not able to do that. And this is what's happening. Like, there are very successful parents who, this is so telling, they're very successful. They made great accomplishments in their life, but their children are a mess. They're on drugs. There are a lot of rich kids out there who have access to all kinds of things, but they don't have access to love. And this is one of the reasons why their parents are so successful, because they push themselves so hard. They kept themselves so busy to the point where they won't recognize any of their pain. And so these are the go-getters. They just go, 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 go. There's no time to really think about life. They have to keep themselves busy. And so every moment, every waking moment, they have to do something. You see some of these, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of motivational speakers who are like this, and it's just a fucking mess. They give you let's just say this. They can tell you how to deny things. They can tell you how to create a facade, because they don't know about the soul. They don't know about that stuff. If you do this, you can get this result. And they're very much into cause and effect. Cause and effect. 705. Is it changing? It is staying here. 705. Okay. I don't know. I think Gibson. Is it Gibson or Gibbs? I don't know. There's some lady, and she's a wreck. She is a wreck. But, and to the point where she admits, I get bad anxiety, and this is how I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, if you ever watch her, I think it's, I want to say Mel Gibson, but I know that's an actor. It's Mel something, I don't know, or something Mel, I don't know, but this blonde woman, and she's like a motivational speaker, and she teaches people how to get over their anxiety. But that's not really what's happening. She's creating a facade. The thing is, anxiety is caused by emotional disturbances within you. And so you have the feeling of anxiety, but it's based on an emotion that's within you that you're trying to not experience. So she teaches people how to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just come backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're lazy and depressed, well, obviously, if you're lazy, if you're depressed, if you're lethargic, and you don't want to get up and do anything, there's some emotional things going on within you. So those are the things that it's best to acknowledge if you want to get rid of it. If you want to find the root of the problem, it's the emotional aspect of who you are. But this person says, don't think. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that just gets me up and it puts me on track. And so this lady lives a life of facade. But to the masses, to the people who are not familiar with emotional injuries, they think this person is great. And so they wake up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would not dare 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you kidding? Because I just know that that's denying the real reason. You're creating a workaround for it. And the thing is, like I said, you can do all these things to tell yourself that you don't have the problem, but the problem still remains. And when you get tired of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, then what happens? You feel the pain. It's still there. It didn't go anywhere because you didn't do anything to get rid of the pain. You didn't do anything to get rid of the cause. And this is why it's so important to, just acknowledge yourself. If you're depressed, then you're depressed. Find out why you're depressed. Release the thing that depresses you, and you don't ever have to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can just wake up happy. You wake up with desire to do things. You don't have to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it. But if you want to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it, that's fine. I don't have anything against anybody else 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1ing it at all. It's I don't have any resistance towards that. I have a desire for myself not to do it. That's a rule I have for myself. But other people, you guys can wake up and start from 10 if you want to. It's completely up to you. That's what I'm saying. You just have to be okay with it, because I can't let your discord be within me. Whatever discord you have within you, and whatever denial that you have, I can't, just because I don't want to live in denial, doesn't mean I have to judge you for living in denial. If you want to put butt beads in your butt, hey, just because I don't want to do that doesn't mean I have to judge you for doing it. It's your body. It's what you want to do. I don't have anything to do with your body. I don't have anything to do with your soul, other than put information out there for you, just in case the soul wants it. Hey, if you have a soul desire for something, then hey, I think it's my duty to put something out there that is loving. If you're ready to love yourself and you want to know what that is, then hey, here's a video for you. But other than that, your life is your business. My life is my business. And that's how it should be. You live your life, I live my life, other people live their lives. We communicate with other people who are like we are, and if we're trying to communicate with people who are different than how we are, then that's something to acknowledge too. Why am I desiring to be with these people, but yet I desire living this way? Why am I trying to be around honest people, but yet I'm a liar? Because that's something that is real and true for someone. There are people who lie left and right about all kinds of things. For one, their marriage, how great it is. There are people who just smile and say, oh, my marriage is great. Yet again, they got bruises underneath the collar. You don't see those things. You don't see the emotional abuse. Oh yeah, my wife is great, yet, she's a monster behind closed doors. And these are the things that you need to be mindful of. Be mindful of yourself. No matter how you choose to live, just be mindful of yourself. What do you want to be mindful of? Yourself and how you are. Do I like doing these things? Do I like doing those things? What do I like? What do I enjoy? What do I tell the world I like and enjoy? And what do I like doing behind closed doors? What's the difference? There shouldn't be a difference, but there is oftentimes a difference. You know, just honor yourself. And judge no one for what they do, including yourself. Don't judge yourself for the things that you enjoy. Just understand that whatever you do, you are responsible for. It is being completely accountable for the actions that you take, including your intent. You know, if you want to manipulate someone, then hey, some people love to manipulate. I grew up and they said, like, honestly, there was a time when I was taught that manipulation was a gift, or is a gift. I was really taught that. I come from a family of manipulators. Oh, we're great at manipulation. And it was literally taught as a strength. How do you manipulate? How do you... Because this is the way the world is. The world is all about manipulating people to see something your way, to get them to see through your lens, how you want them to see, how you want them to feel, and for what? So that you can get what you want. That's what manipulation is, to get what you want. What do you want, a job? Sure. If you want a job at this company, you know this is what's required, then you manipulate them to believe that you actually can do the job, that you are actually qualified for the job. Meanwhile, you feel you are maybe not the right person for the job. Maybe you can't do it. The confidence that you, or the lack of confidence that you have in your ability. Because a lot of times, people go to the interviews, and let me tell you, they know how to manipulate. Oh yes, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, and I know how to do this, and I know how to do that. Sure, no problem, I'm a fast learner. Meanwhile, you're terrified inside. But yet you present. Because this is the way the world is in this moment. Like, they want to be lied to. The world wants to be lied to. And so, living in a world where you want to be lied to, what does that mean? That means you get to lie. I want the world to lie to me and tell me all the things that I want to hear, despite it being true or not. I just want them to tell me what I want to hear. I want to hear you're doing a great job even when I'm not doing shit. And that's what happens, especially where I work. Lord Jesus, this is one lady, she just tells everybody, oh, you're doing such a great job. Oh, you're great, you're great, you're great. Meanwhile, like, a lot of stuff's going on where people aren't getting their needs met. They're not even doing their job. But yet they're getting praised left and right. And so people want to be praised for doing nothing, and people want to... And the thing is, like, it's for management to say something like that. It's like, okay, I'm going to say you're doing a good job because I really don't want to look at the fucked up job I'm really doing. And that's really what's going on. Because they're just in denial. And, like, I used to really get bothered by that. I used to get bothered by that a lot. And now I'm like, hey, you know what? I can't control anybody. And now, because I understand the law of attraction of, like, a client, like, if the client dies, because the client is going to die based on their soul condition. How the client dies is based on their soul condition. And it's not anybody else's responsibility to keep them alive but themselves. So, if that's the case, then if they get, like, a therapist or a case manager who's incapable of helping them see something, and the client doesn't want to see it, then they got exactly what their soul is asking for. If a client doesn't want to do anything, and this has happened many times, where a client doesn't want to change, they want to continue using drugs, and so the treatment team doesn't have any contact with the client, even though we're supposed to have contact with the client. So when it doesn't happen and they end up overdosing and we haven't talked to them in I don't know how long, it's the perfect law of attraction. And I used to get angry. I used to get so angry every time we had a client who died and I felt it didn't need to happen. This was back when I was, I had this idea of controlling things and things had to be a certain way. Like I did have a belief a while back regarding the type of work that I'm involved in. I thought that, hey, it's our job, as, the mental health professionals, to help these people not kill themselves, to help these people not suffer, to change their lives, because that's really what the programs are created for and based on. Saving lives, helping people improve their lives. And so I believe that this is what we have to do. I believe that we have to go against someone else's free will, against someone else's desire, in order for our needs to be met, in order for us to say we're doing a good job. We have to go against all of this. I really believe that. Now I understand. Because what I understand is when you look at mental health, it doesn't matter what organization you're in. You can have there's an organization where there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering had because there's just a lot of dark energy within the organization. And then there are other organizations who have great results, and the people who are attracted to that facility are people who want to change. But the people who don't want to change are going to go to the facilities where they can't get the help, where they can't get the things that they need to change. And I had to come to understand that every organization or every company is not the same. It's different, and it has to be different because there are different people who occupy the planet. And these different people need a respectful place to go to have that experience, that work experience, or that service experience. There are some people who go to places and they get bad customer service. And then there are places where you won't get that at all. At all. And this is because of our law of attraction. Someone will say, oh, I go over here because they have great customer service. And they're just really nice and kind. And then this other person, well, that was too far. But I go over here, but they're just fucking assholes. Like, they're just rude. And you go there because that's part of your soul condition. And so this is what I'm saying. Like, I just had to come to understand that we are experiencing the things that we're experiencing because that's what we choose to experience. We're choosing that. And I'm not, like, when I say our soul is calling for it, like, I have to understand that my soul is calling for it. And if I understand my soul is calling for it and I'm okay with my soul calling for this, then it's completely all on me. It's something that I'm choosing. But if I'm getting bad customer service experience, and I don't like it, and wherever I go it's the same, then whose responsibility is it for it to change, to have a different experience? I might say, hey, it's the person's responsibility who's a customer service representative, but really it's my responsibility to either not do business with them or check myself and ask myself, why am I getting this type of customer service experience? I can call one person and have a positive experience, and I can call I can call a company, have a bad customer service experience, and I can call the same company and have a different customer service experience. And it really is all dependent upon me. How am I coming to the person? Am I coming to the person in a messed up way? Do I have an attitude? Am I frustrated to begin with? Like, what's really going on? This is what I have to ask myself. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. So anyway, I guess I can say this. To really make it simple. If you have a sister who is being mistreated, or you have a brother who's being mistreated, just be okay with it. Just be okay with it, because this is something that they're choosing. They're choosing to be in this environment. And I'm sure at some point you say, hey, look, you need to leave this person, or you need to find a different job, or whatever. And so they have the ability, they have the option to leave. And so it doesn't make any sense for you to be upset and create discord within your being when they're the one who is really not angry with their situation. They're very much content with their situation. And if they're complaining about their situation and yet remain in the situation, that means they're okay with it. So why would you create turmoil within your being? Why would you create judgment and hatred within your being for something that they're choosing? And this is really something I had to come to understand. And it's allowed me to just release myself from the problems of the world and let the problems of the world be the problems of the world. It seemed weird at first. It just, because we're taught, no, we have to care. And really caring in from our perspective, or let me just say this. Caring from the Creator's perspective, it is different than our understanding of caring. Because when we say we need to care, what we're really saying is we need to control. We need to make it look pretty. We need to make it look nice. We need to make the suffering stop. We need to make someone else's suffering stop. We have to create peace and harmony in other people's lives. And that is false. That is false. And when you try to force peace, joy, and happiness in someone else's life when they're choosing something that's in opposition of peace, love, and happiness, then what are we doing? We're going against their free will choice to choose that for themselves. And if they're so messed up and they can't see that they're saying one thing and creating another, that's something that they have to come to understand. But how can they reconcile that if we, from the outside, are trying to fix it for them? Because as we try to fix something for someone else, they don't learn how to fix it themselves. And they're stuck. You know, it's kind of like a car. You know, I'm not saying you have to be a freaking engineer or a mechanic or anything like that, but there's some basic things about your car you should probably know about, because you never know when that knowledge is going to come in handy. There are some certain people who do not know how to change a tire. Now, I've never had to change a tire, but I know how to change a tire. So if I'm ever in a place where, hey, I need to get I have a flat, I need to change my spare, then, or change my tire and put my spare on, at least I know how to do it. I'm not like left in the cold. I'm not left in the dark. I'm not left stranded. It's like, hey, I can just keep going, get my message, why it happened, and keep going. That's it. Yeah. Because you never know. You just never know. So, like I said, if other people are experiencing pain and suffering, and they're your friends or your family, just understand that they're choosing that. They're choosing to be at that job. They're choosing to be with that person. They're choosing to have those friends. Like, really, if someone is using you, if someone is abusing you, understand that that's your choice. I had someone who said, who was talking to some just talking to somebody, and they have a lot of problems, and it's like, and they were like, you know, and this person has a family member, and they get on my nerves, and I'm thinking, and here you are, you're saying you hate it, but yet here you are talking to this person. So clearly you're okay with it. Why you're complaining about it? Well, that's because you're in denial of what you're creating. Now, I understand that, but they don't understand that. They don't want to understand that. So who am I to really say anything to them about them doing something wrong? You know, the thing is, they come to me telling me these things, and it's like, well, I can't accept it the way you're trying to present it, but I will accept it for what it is, and I'll give feedback based on truth. Like, I'm not going to allow you to tell me something just to vent. That's not happening. What will happen is if you talk to me about something, I'm going to get feedback. That's my rule. That is my rule. I will give feedback. Ain't none of this, well, I didn't ask you your feedback, I just want to vent. No. I'm not gonna allow you to just bombard me with all your drama. I'm gonna tell you how to fix it. And if you don't want to hear how to fix it, then keep your mouth shut and don't say anything to me. Don't bring your fucked up life into this life over here, because it's not going to work. Like, I'm not going to take that negative energy on, because that's really what happens when people vent. They're like, oh, this, and he, and she, and she, and I, and it just goes on and on and on. And then they expect you to not say anything. And they're like, oh, I just needed to get that out. And now you're carrying it, feeling some kind of way about it, feeling some kind of way about what they're doing to your friend and how they cheated. But I mean, it is what it is. It's like, why are they, if someone, let's listen, if someone is with someone and they're in a relationship and they cheat, that's not kind of, but it is an indicator that they don't want to be with them anymore. And yet here, these boo-boo the fools stay. And so you have to just let it be. Just like, hey, you know what? Well, you must like it because you're staying. My mom used to always say this. And it used to... My mom said, women who get beat and they don't leave their man or their partner, spouse, or husband or whatever, she said, well, they must like it. They keep going back. And it's true. They must like it because they keep going back. And some women do like getting beat up. They love it. They really love it. Because sometimes they're so detached from their emotional being, they need something harsh in order to feel something. And the thing is, even though the man may beat them and toss them around and do this and that, they just love makeup sex. Because that's the part they're looking for. They're looking for the affection and the attention. And they're willing to get beat around and bruised in order to get it. And some women are just twisted like this. Hey, you know what? It is what it is. I can't say anything bad about it because it's not happening to me. It's not something that I choose. It's something that they choose. It's something that they're choosing for themselves. And I just have to accept it. Like, I have family members who are just, they love to drink and they love to do their things and they love to do their drugs and run around and do this and that. And hey, that's their choice. Like, I can't stop them from doing it. But don't think I'm going to come around you and condone the things that, and smile and haha and kiki and what all. No, I can't. Because that's not what I condone. That's not what I stand for. That's not what I live for. So I have to surround myself with people who are in alignment with my vision. And obviously they're surrounding themselves who are in alignment with their vision. And that's fine. And that's the law of attraction. And when these people don't serve us or we feel like they're using us, at that point, like I said in the beginning of the video, they need that in order to see the truth. This is why I don't try to save people anymore. I don't try to help people anymore. I just put my stuff out there. And, you know, the book that I've been talking about for some time now seems more, there's more of a drive to write it now than there has been in the past. One, because I don't have to deal with anybody face to face. I just put a book out there. And people who want it, they can read it. And people who don't, they don't have to read it. And it's really that simple. It just seems more in alignment with how I'm feeling now and the direction that I'm moving towards feeling wise. A book seems much more appealing than it did in the past. And and that's only because I'm understanding that people need to be able to live their life how they want to live their life. And that's it. I can admit in the beginning of my videos, I did these videos in order to change people so people would know the truth and know the truth. Now I'm like, you know what? People don't have to if they don't want to. And they don't have to accept it if they don't want to. They can create their own version of it if they want to. Like, people been doing it for thousands of years. So who am I to come and change the... Look, if God has a power to do that but won't do it, I have to understand why that is. It's not about, you know, that's a whole different video. Anyway, I think I'll just end it there. Anyway, so you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye now.